Welcome, welcome everybody. We're going to give people a few minutes to get in. Okay, I'm going to give everybody just a minute to get in. Looks like we have lots more people joining right now. Very exciting. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Happy Thursday, everybody. Hope you had a great week. I am super thrilled for today. I've been looking forward to it all week long. Today is our third of four webinars in the Nurse Faculty Webinar Series. And special thank you to WCTC and our lovely Denise for helping us set up these Zoom webinar meetings. So we appreciate her very much. I'm going to go ahead and go through a few slides here. I wanted to go through some updates. So if you are not familiar with Honest RN Review, we were kind of born out of everything that was going on and having to move online. And we wanted a space for nursing instructors, nursing faculty to be able to share tools for online learning in an honest and non-biased environment. So there is a website that we have been working very hard behind the scenes to catalog all these resources for nursing faculty to be able to access. Of course, in our Facebook group, we do lots of sharing. So we're trying to really make it easier for instructors to find these tools. And so that is open. It's honestrnreview.com. So go ahead and register. please be patient because it's all volunteer work. So we have some people who are working with web developing. That's definitely not my area of expertise. So she's working really hard to make sure that it's user friendly. The next thing I wanted to mention, because every single day I feel like I get questions about where can I find these webinars. And you know, Zoom is new to me. I've only started using it really this semester, as I'm sure maybe all of you may be in the same boat as I am. So what I've tried to do is every time after the Zoom meeting is to upload the recording just right into the event on Facebook. So I still will continue to do that. However, guess what, you guys? I created a YouTube channel. It's free. So what I just did was downloaded it to my computer and then downloaded it to YouTube so that everybody can access all the videos and they'll all be there in one space for people to access. So hopefully you can check that out. The next thing I want to talk about is a back to school webinar. I want to, I need committee members. Hey, I want to create a back to school webinar series for us to get prepared for fall 2020. If your campus is like my campus, we're making a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C, but I'll tell you every single plan involves some component of online learning. We have learned some lessons this semester, good and bad. So I want to help us prepare, gear up, get excited for the fall, share these tools in a similar format. So I am looking for committee members and presenters and ideas. So please message me if you're interested in doing that. I would love to have you kind of help, and we'll be meeting as a committee throughout the summer. I know I don't want to give too much work during the summer, but I think it's fun. I think it'll be a fun thing for us to do. And I really just enjoyed connecting and meeting other colleagues across the US and across the world. We have members from all over. So this is the YouTube channel. So when you go to YouTube, you're going to look for Honest RN Review, and I'll be honest, it's not easy to find. I don't use YouTube very often. But when I tried to Google it or put it in YouTube, I didn't find it right away. So this is what you'll see on our channel. I also put the link on our Facebook page, so hopefully you can find that. And so that's what it looks like for you to be able to access. The series part 1 is up there. The series part 2, now we did miss like the first 15 minutes of last week with Picmonic, but the rest of it's on. So thank goodness we were able to salvage that. That was great. And then we'll be putting this as well. Once it's all done being loaded, we'll put this also onto the YouTube channel. So without further ado, escape rooms part 2, how to set it up. I can't believe the response. I'm just so excited to see our faculty. You know, we're all just working together, and we have some expert panelists here today who are going to show us. But really, you know, we went over the basics of escape rooms, if there's such a thing as basics, because I feel like it does take some, you know, skill and technique. So we learned about that the last time we talked about escape rooms. But everybody wanted to know, how do I actually do my own? You know, because it's great to share tools, but maybe you just have one that you want to develop for your own students. So this is virtual escape rooms, how to set them up, okay? And I wanted to introduce, again, a huge shout out. Can we get a congratulations for Lauren? She just finished her doctorate. So she graduated, she defended today, and she just signed up for this. I just am so thankful for her, and I look up to her. I think that's so cool. Yay! Give her a huge shout out in the chat room. Tell her how awesome she is. Awesome, awesome. I'm like, I'm not getting my doctorate. I'm not getting my doctorate. I'm not, maybe I should. No, I'm not getting. Oh, but awesome. So excited. This is her bio here. You guys probably recognize her from the last time that she presented. So thank you so much, Lauren, for fitting this into your busy schedule. Next, we have Kim Tebin, and she is from, is it Minot? How do you say that, Kim?
Minot.
Minot. See, I was wrong.
That's all right.
So she tries to make learning fun. I love her fun personality, and she's going to also be bringing us some information on how to create escape rooms. She's created them before too, so she did an awesome job at our last presentation, and we're excited to hear what she's going to share with us today. All right. Next, here's me. You know, I'm just a teacher, just like everybody else. I don't have my doctorate. Like I said, I'm not getting my doctorate. Now, if they do loan forgiveness now, if they come out with that bill where we give free loan forgiveness for, you know, and I know there are some programs, then maybe I'll change my mind. But anyways, I'm just a moderator. I'm here to support and share and just be a part of this community. And, you know, honestly, I haven't ever felt so connected to my profession as an instructor as I have now, which is so weird because we're so separated. You know, I'm a nurse practitioner and I have that going. I'm an instructor, but I haven't felt like so, I don't know, the connection is really awesome. So if there's a silver lining to all of this, that's what it is. So I believe without further ado, I am going to let our presenters take the stage. Thank you so much, guys.
All right, so this is the second part of a continuation of the previous one. And so I'm gonna go over just a few things, and then Lauren is gonna show you like live about setting it up. All right. Okay, we have our credentials and our information here that Amber just went over. All right, tips to get started. The most important thing, and probably the most difficult thing, for me anyway, is to find and determine that concept, that topic that you want to present to your students, that you want to have for a clinical replacement is some of the things that I used it for, or just a different way of learning, something fun. So that's the most important thing, is to first get that down before you try to start making the different rooms and determining your questions and stuff, is to determine that topic. All right. And then Lauren and I both collaborated. She did a lot more of it than I did, but this tip sheet here, and so I'm going to go over that. You'll have the link to it as well. And I'm just going to kind of walk through the steps, and then, like I said, Lauren's going to go through it live so you can see what it looks like live. Click this here. All right, here. So information on thinking about that topic. Have some fun with it. The students usually like you to have some fun, and there's different ways you can do that. You can make a folder and, oh, yep.
All right, we can't see the tip sheet. You're gonna have to go to screen share again and then pick the tip sheet.
Okay, so screen share.
She's gonna be a pro when we're done with this.
Yep. Okay, here we go. Now you see it? No? It says it's sharing.
So you have to select do you have the document up yet?
Yeah, and I clicked share. No?
So left click it, stop screen sharing.
Okay.
And then left click it or open up the link completely. Is it open yet?
Yes, I've got it open.
And then you're going to go back to share screen, and then you're going to choose the one that you want us to see.
All right. Well, okay. Now it totally disappeared.
Okay, if you want to copy and paste, oh, got it?
No.
Or you can copy and paste the link. Oh, there it is now. Yay!
Okay. I think my computer's just like being delayed because I had it there.
I shared it for you. I had it up.
I don't know what's going on with it. All right. Sorry about that. Okay. So the first thing, like we talked about, is to pick that topic, that content, and there's some different tools you can use. You can put a folder on your desktop to store everything so you know where everything's at. It's a good place to keep all your information and utilize all your resources that you have. We all have lots of textbooks, case studies, NCLEX books, all different types of things like that that you can utilize to find the different types of questions. And we'll go over that in a little bit about the different types of questions you can use. Let's see. And then the first thing you're going to use is Google Forms. So you need to create a Google account or log into your Google account. And I've got the link there, and it's going to come up saying personal or business. You pick personal, and then it'll go to the Google Forms box. Then you're going to see a blank form, and it says start new form. And that's what you're going to click. and I've got an image of it here in order to start making your different rooms. So that's an image of that. And then you're going to start that first page, and you'll keep adding rooms onto that page. And this is where you're going to put your titles, your questions, you're going to put your lock boxes there. You can add images, videos, and all those different things. I've got some extra information here about how to add those questions, and it's going to make more sense when you see it live happening. But you'll click on that little plus on the right-hand side to add your questions. That box that says multiple choice, you can have select all that apply, short answers. There's different types of questions that you can utilize for that as well. All right. And then this image here is talking about the lock code and how you will program that in order for them to get that correct to move on to the next part of the next room, I guess it would be. And then down below, the last image is an image of one page, what one page would look like. And like I said, it's going to look better with Lauren doing it live so you can see what everything is, but it shows you different areas here, things that are required, where you can add the videos and add more pages, add more questions, that sort of thing. So I'll let Lauren kind of go through this now live because it'll be a little bit easier to follow along.
One sec, let me just grab it up. Hang on. There it is. Okay, all right, so everyone should see my screen here. We're on Google Forms, right? Good, okay. All right, so I am just essentially just going to walk you through everything that Kim just said. When she went into, I know probably like many of you, when I go right into Google, I'm already signed in. So I just click right onto my forms. And when I click on forms, this is what I see. And so this is my Google account. And you can see here that I have a couple other rooms, or a couple rooms here. It looks like there's a bunch of them, but what's really nice with Google, once I started to share some of these rooms, I was using them with my students along with sharing them with other people. And so I wanted to kind of keep the information separate because I started to collect comments and things like that. And so I wanted to have my students, information, and then others as well. So it's really nice because once you start one of these Google Forms, you can easily duplicate it. So once you kind of set almost like the shell of one, you can duplicate it and then start to work from there. So that's why it looks like I have so many of them. I wish I had this many, but I only have 4 of them, and I duplicated 4 of them. So, all right, so we'll go ahead and get started. So I'm in my Google Forms, and I'm going to hit a blank form, okay? And so it opens up, doesn't look anything fancy, but guess what? We're gonna make it look amazing. So first thing is we are going to start, there's nothing here. It says an untitled form. So I'm just gonna type in here, this is gonna be my sample room, okay? And in my sample room, I might want to tell the students them what it's about. What it is about. So I might say that this room is going to be a room on sepsis or pre-op or whatever it is that I want to tell them about. I also might want to make it a little fancy and put an image in there or put a video in there. And so what I want to do is I want to look at all of my settings here. So I'm going to minimize you guys so I won't be able to see you guys. I can go over here, and it initially comes up with my first question, but I don't want to do that just yet. I want to add a little something fancy. So I want to add an image. Now I can upload from pictures that I might have saved on the computer specifically for this room, or it's really easy to go to Google image search right here. So I can say escape. Ooh, look at that, nice fancy picture. So I'm gonna select that, I'm gonna insert it, and it's coming. And then it will come up as the image. It's taking a little bit, but it should come up. I can do that with an image. I can do that with a video. And so it kind of just adds just a little bit of something extra to what room you're going to be doing. So if I'm doing, like I did an acid-base room and a rheumatic stressor. So I added a picture about those topics there. And then so down here is where I would essentially ask my first question. So I will say, is this question 1? Or I'll say, do you want to enter? Okay, and so this is essentially how you build the entire room. It's going to be a bunch of these forms. And so this is going to be a multiple choice. I would say yes, or do I want them no to go into? And so I do want this to be a required question. And what I will also do is I want to check here, and I want to see here the little 3 dots where to go. I want to tell where Google Forms to go based on their answer. So if they select yes, I will let them, I haven't created the next section yet, but I can tell them, okay, go ahead, go to the next section. If they're being, if they're, do you want to enter? And they say no, I could essentially bring them right back to the first room, which I've created. I could have them be done, submit the form, or I've created just another section where it sends them to another area that says, really, did you really not want to enter this room? And then they have to, it routes them back to this room anyway. So, but I'm not going to know that until I continue to make more of these sections. So what else on here? Just if you're looking, this little palette form, you can change the theme of your rooms. You can change the colors. You can change the font. I like to stick with the basic just because it's easy to read or formal. And then you can also change it up, make it, add a little flair to it. You can upload your own banner or image, or you can select one. And that will add, again, just like a little extra flair to it. Okay, so let's close that out. And okay, so I added my image. I don't want to do a video, so I will add another section. And so it's just going to go down to the next one. So this is going to be, essentially, I like to make this second room an inner instructions. So here would be the instructions room. I would type the instructions of how I want them to complete this room. And so again, I can go in and I can add an image. Let's see. So kind of letting them know that this is an escape room. This is dangerous. This is, just something to make it a little fun. And you can put literally any kind of images or anything like that in here. And so what I like to do in my rooms is, with this instruction room, just show them how they'll be answering the questions. Like for example, this one, it's just a yes or no. There's one question and that's pretty simple. If they select the correct answer, it's going to bring them to the next room. You can do rooms like that. You can have each section here have one question and then one answer. That answer will get them to the next room. You can do it that way. The way I do it is I do a couple questions and then that will get them into the next room. I like to do like a scenario and then they have to answer a couple questions and then it's usually a little bit longer of a code to get in. So I'm going to show you how to do the code now. So this is instructions. And so what I want to do is I want to add a question and I'm still in my section 2. And so this can be question 1, whatever it is that I'm going to ask. And so in my options, I like to put like the numbers. So you can do numbers, you can do letters. I stick with numbers just because that was easier. And I'm just going to do something simple. So all right, so let's see. So let's see what this looks like. I'm going to, so that's my question. This is a multiple choice question. So that is how you would do your multiple choice questions. So you would type in your question here and then your answers in this section. I like to make that required. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another one of these little questions. And this is essentially, this box here is going to be my, my code box. So they are going to enter the code here. And it's going to be in a short answer. So you need to switch it from, see how there was multiple choice, all these other ones? To get the actual code to go to the next room, you have to do short answer. And so this definitely has to be required. And this is going to be short answer. And I clicked this little 3 dot. I need it to be a response validation. And so what that means is the number needs to be equal to, and then 1, because that's going to be the answer to get in. If they don't select that, I'm going to say they're going to get an error that says sorry, or whatever it is that you want to say. So let's see, let's go back up to the top and see what I did. So I did my sample room, I put an image in. Do you want to enter? And this was just a yes or no. And remember, I needed to go back here to make sure that I got to the next answer, or to the next section. So when I went here, do you want to enter? Go to the next section. That's where I want them to go. If the student selected no, I need to send them somewhere else, so I can send them back to the instructions screen. So usually when I have like a page or 2 in, I'll go back up to the beginning, and then I'll go here. This is a preview to kind of see what this looks like. So let me see if this will, I might need to, I'm just changing the screen for you guys. So now this is what it looks like. So, okay, I have my room, there's escape. Do I want to enter? So I want to make sure this worked. So let me hit no, see what happens. Ah, good, perfect. Oh, no, it did. It sent me there. So I did something, so I did something wrong there. So let me go back. So I do want to enter, and it brought me to the next section. And then let's say, I don't think I told it what to do yet. Nope, it just says no. So pick me, I'm gonna submit. And then my response has been recorded, because that's all I've told Google Forms to do. So let me switch back over. Sorry. Okay, all right, so we should be back on the room. Okay, so let's see. So this, I went to my sample room, I did my escape, and then, oh, I told it to go to number 2. That's why it didn't work. Okay, so see how that was different. So if they select no, I want them to go back to the first page. I had selected they can go to the second page. And so that's how I'm going to work through. So there we go. Let's go add another one. So when I'm ready to add another section, I just hit add section, and there we go. So I'm here now. So I can say, this is, we'll say room 2, and I want to add a question in here. And so now we did multiple choice, okay? So let's look at, some people had asked before, well, what about select all that applied? That's simple too. So I want to do check boxes instead of multiple choice. So here, I'm going to do whatever my question is. So I'm going to type my question in, and then I'm going to type in my answers. And I write these numbers in parentheses so that that equals the code to get to the next area. Answer, I'm just kind of making this up, not answer. Okay, all right, and so what I'll need to do, if this is my only question, then that's fine, or if I want to add other questions, I just need to make sure that when I'm ready to make the code or the lockbox, that I add question, and then I make it a short answer. Okay, and so here I can say, this is where the code goes. Oops. And then this is going to be my number. My number is equal to, and then that answer is going to be 113. And then my sorry is not the right answer. Make sure I hit require, and then they will go to the next section. So I want to keep on creating sections, as many rooms as I want to have, as many questions. Like I said, so I've seen some people do just one question a room, and that's fine. I know I usually do like a couple questions a room. Also in this room, so say I have questions, or say I want to have a case study and I want to answer a couple questions. So I'll show you, I know I talked about in the last session, I like to use either Word or PowerPoint to create kind of like chart exhibits. And so I will add an image in here, and I'm going to upload. We have one saved. See if I can get it up here. Okay, so this is something that I made through PowerPoint, where, you know, I was making some patients and I wanted the students to, I wanted them to rank who to see first. And so I could, you know, type that in there, and then I could start to ask questions. Or I can ask them about risk factors, and with my select all that apply questions. So I can keep adding, or if I have a video that I want to go along with these questions, you can still have the same features of adding images and adding videos. So this is where my code goes, and then I had 1 and 3 were my answers. So I'll show you that. Let me show you one other thing. This is another section. I'll call this the the end section. I like to, on my last page, well, not on my last page, after they've gotten through all of the rooms and it's like the congratulatory page, I like to collect a little bit of information. And I know sometimes the way I use these rooms, I typically don't use these rooms as a grade, in as far as like I'll grade it for completion. So some people have asked, well, how do you know who is going, like who's completed it? So this is that section where I'll show you. So after I've said congratulations, you did a great job, I will add in some information here. So let's add a question, and I'm going to go over here. So what question do I want to ask them? The first thing I want to ask is paragraph. And here I will say, and I've used this in small group settings as well in the classroom. I've said, you know, what I usually put them in clinical groups. So I'll say, what clinical group are you? And then it will be submitted. So, but I can say, what is your name? Okay, so that will prompt a question that they have to enter their information. I want to make that required as well. I also like to get information, especially when I was really starting these escape rooms. I wanted to get feedback from my students of, you know, how it went, what they liked, what they didn't like. I really enjoy that feedback, and especially after I've shared it with a lot of people online, I've got some really great feedback. So I like that information, and so I would say any feedback that, you know, you would like to give me, and this would again be a paragraph, and I want that required. I would like them to do that. I also, on mine, I have a linear scale, and so I would say, you know, how did you like this? And they would give me their input as well. So this is where I can get some good information of who completed it, and if they had any, you know, certain feedback, if they liked the activity, and that would be my last. That would be my last page. I want to make sure on my very, very last page that I do submit form, because I found out one time, you know, I created a room and I wasn't getting the feedback, and the students were filling in all this information, and they would hit next, but it would just bring them back to the front screen, and it wasn't an actual submission of the form. So let's look to see where, let's see what I have here. Okay, so looks like these sections got a little mixed up, but that's okay because you can tell Google Forms where you want it to go. So I want, okay, do you want to enter? Yes. And so I want to continue to the next section, which is now room 2. So I think I had the instruction sheet. So let's go to instructions. No, they can go back to the sample room. Okay, so then let's look here. I have my instructions, pick me. Where do I want them to go? I want them to go to the next page. Okay, so let's see what this looks like. See if I mess this up. Switching screens again. All right, so I have my sample room. Do you want to enter? Yes, let's go. Okay, this is my sample room. This was my instructions of how, I would tell them, to pick the number. Oh, it's supposed to be 3. To pick the numbers to go along with the codes. What's going to be my code? And we will say 1. And let's see. All right, so I submitted the form. So I did that on purpose. So it just got messed up there. So it's pretty simple to go through and, fix to see. So let me go back to sharing with you guys. So it's just, I have it, let's see, what did I do here? Here's my instructions. And I can also, I know I can move these around as well. Forget which one it is. This guy. No. Let's see. There's my room. Here's my end section. Now I just have to. There we go. So all I did was this little 3-line here. This wasn't selected, so where it was based on the answer. And that's what I needed to change because I just said continue to the next section, which was the end. So that's just like a quick how to put in a lot of different questions. Another thing I know I have gotten questions on is, I'm going to go back to, you can just click right on Google Forms here, and you can get right back to the rooms that you've done. And you can go into any of them. When you click on them, if you want to share them, my little button, I can't see. You will click the send button and it can give you a link. I don't know if this will come up for you guys, but I can have a link. I usually shorten the link so it's not so long. And that's what you would share if you were sharing with colleagues, or if you wanted to post on your learning management system. We use Blackboard, so it's pretty simple to do that. But one thing I wanted to show you guys is, I'm going to go into one of my rooms here just to see some of the feedback that that you can get. And so we'll go into this one. This is one of the all about the base escape room. And I'll show you, just take it a little slow.
Yeah, I'm just gonna, when you're done sharing this, we have a number of questions. So whenever you're ready to answer those, just let me know.
Okay. All right, almost done. All right, so look at this. Just since sharing this, since March, I've gotten 667 people giving me feedback, which is just amazing. But you can go through and this is essentially exactly what I walked through. So my first room was my instructions. I started to put here information about the textbook that I used, and I had started to, in the comments, I had gotten feedback of, students who had been stuck on a room and they wanted an outlet, and after the room they kind of felt, they felt let down because they're like, well, I wasn't sure what I got right. And so I've been working on just creating extra pages. So when they leave an escape room, they get the code. I just created another room that goes through an explanation page. And so I'm in the process of updating my rooms to do that. Most of them are, actually this one's not, but so here, so see, like, are you ready? These are the instructions for getting started. I typed in my instructions. I put in a caution sign. These were a couple sample questions of, to show them how, like, this is pick me. And so to get through, my answers were going to be those 3 digits. So what was it? 3312. And then that would get them to the next page. I wanted to quickly show you the responses just so that you can see it goes through every question that you have require answer on. So these are all the answers. And so it's nice because I can see when someone tried to select something else. And this would be really helpful, especially with your students, to wonder, it's almost like an item analysis where you're like, wait a minute, why did they select that? And so you could do some remediation as well. And then just going down, this was my little my little score. Most people liked it. And then here is where I just had a bunch of comments, and this was really helpful as well. So, all right, so I guess that's it showing. I guess we can take questions now.
Great. I'll just read off some of these questions and then you and Kim can answer as we go through them, okay? So the first question we have is, do you upload these to your learning platform, and how do you know that the students completed these? And I think you kind of already answered this, but if you want to just maybe summarize.
I guess the learning management system, what I typically do is I will make a little either an image or something that is hyperlinked with the link. So they have to click on a picture to take them to the Google form. I could just post the link in an announcement or in an assignment tab, but either one would be fine.
Kim?
And then,
yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I basically do the same thing, because we use Blackboard as well. So either posting the link or something that'll take them to the link.
And then at the end, I went to that results page, the responses. And so I will know that they completed it because they would have had to got to the end to submit their name. And so that's how I've graded them before. When I graded by completion, I would go to the response page and look for their name. And if their name was on there, then I gave them credit for the assignment.
Okay, do you mind showing that space again? We have like questions related to the answers.
Yep.
So
let's see, let me go to, you guys can still see my screen. Am I still sharing?
Yep.
Okay. So let me go. So again, once I'm in that edit mode, so I have my questions where if I needed to change something or if something was wrong. I know at one time I had gotten an email that like, hey, I think one of your questions is wrong. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. And so I just went in and fixed it. And so here's the questions. And then, sorry, my computer's being a little slow. I'll go to the responses. And here I can see, I had 667 people say that they were ready to do it. And then it goes through every question that I worked through. And so if you remember at the very end, after the congratulatory page, I asked them what their name was. You can also have them enter their email address as well. There's an option for Google Forms to collect their email addresses. And so if you want to do it that way, or if you want to have them submit their name. So if you go down here, this one was one that was shared. So it was just comments. So some people liked it, some people didn't like it, but that's what I would type here about, collecting their name.
Yeah, it's nice to get that feedback from, like you said, sometimes it's trial and error initially. The first one I did, I kept going through it and I had errors and stuff. So it takes a little bit of time to get used to doing that. And then you can start rocking them out pretty quickly.
Yeah. And it's nice because you can just, let me go back so you could see. When the first one I created, it was last fall that I created it, and it was one of these virtual ones. And so if I go into it, so this is essentially exactly what I did. Once I started this one, I went up into this three little dots here. Sorry, my computer is lagging. And then I could make a copy of it, and it duplicated it. And so I just renamed it and changed my questions. I pretty much changed out my title, kept that, changed this out, that stayed the same, the instructions stayed the same, that stayed the same, and then my rooms changed up a little bit. But essentially everything was, was the same. My doors are the same. So if you've seen a lot of my escape rooms, you'll see my doors are the same throughout each one, just because, it was easy to just duplicate it and then change it up.
Okay, there's a question. How did you do the form submission question? She missed that piece of it. How did you do the form submission?
So the form submission is going to be your last page here. So if you see here, I said, congratulations, you successfully escaped the hemorrhage. I did a nice little video. I wanted them to rate it, comments, and suggestions, and then here. So it's me telling Google Forms what I want them to do next. And so after that one, I want to submit the form. What I had done previously, when I realized I wasn't getting feedback, I was like, what is going on? I think I had selected one of these other ones. I think I had them sent it back to the front or to the first page. So the students were filling it out, but it was just sending them back to the front page, and then they were exiting out. And so just on your last page, especially if you're wanting to collect their name and that they did the information, you've got to make sure your last section is the submit form. And you see I have another section down here. This doesn't necessarily mean it's the last section. It's where I'm telling after my congratulations to go. This one here was just something extra. This was the page where it said, no, I don't want to enter. And some of my other ones have the explanation pages. So I have a bunch of explanation pages. So it's really after each section. So this is section 6 out of 7. This is my congratulations. They're going to be done after that. So that's where I say submit the form.
Okay. Another question we have here is, are we going to be able to print the cheat sheet?
The cheat sheet. Oh,
yeah, that tip. Yeah, you should be able to, I can, let's see, give you the link, Amber. I'll send you the link for that. And so that you can post it on Facebook and stuff. So, yep.
Okay, next question. Did you make a separate room for comments? If you use the same escape room for a different class, can you get rid of all the results from the old class so you only have results for the new class?
Yes, you could, just exactly how when I went into how I duplicated the rooms for my students and then for other people, I went into the room and I duplicated it. So after I'm done with the room, if I wanted to, like for example, this one, the one we just did, I can go in and I can remove it. Or I can go into it and I can duplicate it, and you can name that, fall of 2020 or however you want to name it. So it's very easy to make multiple rooms of the same one, and it will give you a separate link for each one. And so you could use it that way.
Next question is, are you able to print the escape room, like the questions and the response pages? Is there a way to do that?
I guess I haven't tried that. Have you, Lauren?
I'm trying to think. I don't see why you wouldn't be able to. So if I open it, I haven't, but let's see. I'm sure, because essentially it's one long form. If I just hit Control P, I'm sure it would print out, but exactly how it is, exactly how it looks. I don't think that there's a way to, I don't think that there's a way to, like, it would, you know, the first page would print and then the next one. Sorry, my computer's just being so slow. I mean, there's a print button, so I haven't done it, but I'm sure it would just print out just exactly the format that it is, like this.
Yeah, it does look like, and somebody responded, I have printed the response page for an individual. So
Oh, the response page where they talk. Oh, I wasn't sure.
I think they meant both things, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure you could do that as well. And it looks like, yeah, you can even create a spreadsheet for that information. So again, it's almost like a mini item analysis. I like looking at these and, you know, thinking like here, I'm like, all right, so many people selected the, you know, this answer, and so then I, you know, as an instructor can go back and be like, all right, well, where did they get this information? Or, you know, what were they thinking?
Mhm.
Great. Okay. Next question. How can another instructor use your form and get the responses on their account? Do they have to create their own form or can they use your form somehow?
So what did you do, Kim? Because when I created mine, I went on Google Forms and just played with it. So how did you just create, Kim, from the?
Yeah, I just made my own. I looked at yours, and then I just went on and figured it out how to. I looked at the information sheet you had, and then made my own. Yep.
I think you could even, like, if you shared like a generic one, you could duplicate it and then like use it as like a template base, you know, and fill it in would be maybe an option, but you'd have to really be careful, I guess, based on the answers. I don't know. Like, 'cause I
Yeah.
think there's a way to duplicate it, like you said, and update it.
Oh, maybe, you know, I haven't done that. Let me see. Let me open this. I haven't, because when you hit send, and I know that you can create, oh, sorry, my computer is like done. It doesn't want
Time for upgrade, girl. Graduation gift.
I'm pretty sure, yeah, you can add collaborators. So I haven't done that, but yeah, so it looks like, I don't know, I haven't used that because I haven't collaborated with anybody on any type of rooms. So it looks like you might be able to do that. But yeah, I haven't, just like, you know, anyone with Google, like with Google Docs and slides that, you know, you can see. Let me see. Oops.
Okay, next question I have is, can students print and share?
None of my students printed theirs off at all.
Yeah, no, none of mine did either. I'm not sure what you mean by like print and share, like with the instructor, or I mean, you know, they can print it off, but essentially everything is electronic, so I can see the, you know, the results there.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it would be hard to do it if it was printed because it's just not going to work the same way, but I'm not sure if, thanks for sharing, Lauren. Yeah.
I don't know what that link will do. So if anyone wants to click on it and see. I haven't used it before, so.
All right, so there's another question here. Has one tried creating an escape room in OneNote? I tried and I have this beautiful escape room, but nobody can see it. Any help there?
Yeah, I have. I essentially duplicated one of my escape rooms into OneNote just because I I heard about it and I liked the way that it looked. It was very cumbersome trying to do it. However, I also encountered problems when trying to share it. I was able to share it, and some people were able to view it and see it, and it worked amazing. However, there was a lot of interface issues with, depending on if somebody had Chrome or if somebody had I forget what the my one colleague had, because I shared it with a colleague, and one, it worked amazing, it was beautiful, and then the other, I think they were using a Chromebook and just had difficulties doing it. So it is a nice platform. However, I found that the Google Forms is one that just really, everybody, I hadn't gotten emails that, I can't access it or I'm having problems. And so I don't know that it's as user friendly as the Google Forms
Yeah,
is.
I've only used the Google Forms. I haven't tried it with OneNote at all, but I've heard the same comments like you've just expressed, Lauren, too.
Mhm.
That's really sad. All that hard work. Oh,
Well, I didn't create it by new. I just, it did take a lot of time, but I just was like, all right, this is going to be worth it. I'm just going to copy and paste. But then, and it, when it worked, it was beautiful. But then when it didn't work, it was very unfortunate.
hmm. Okay, so I have clarification on the printing question. They wanted to know, can students cheat on this? Like if they were trying to print it and like share with each other, sharing answers.
So, I mean, I guess that's always always a concern that they could. However, one thing that I've done is that when I'm doing my questions and when I'm doing my rooms, and I know I have gotten comments where people have said, "Oh no, I don't like that," but I think it's a little bit harder. Is where when I go into my room, there is a scenario and there's several questions, so it's not just one multiple choice question and then you're going to the next room. It would probably be a little bit easier to say, okay, well, room one is answer one to go to the next room. It's a little bit harder and takes a little bit longer when they're doing multiple different types of questions. So they have two multiple choice questions and then they have a select all that apply. It's going to be a little bit harder for them to write all that information down, because especially if they're going through it and they're working through it and they don't know the answers, it's going to take them a little bit longer. And if you have a explanation page afterwards, because what if they're trying to get through and they don't know the answers, but then they get through, now they don't know what the answers were. So it's sure, there's always the possibility that they could, but I haven't, I mean, I don't know. I can't say for sure, but yeah, it makes it a little bit harder when there's more questions in each room to get through, I think.
Yep, I agree.
Okay, next question. Has anybody used this in a breakout room, like assigning a few students to a breakout room and having them work on it together?
I have not yet, because we're actually done now with school, and I kind of, yeah, I know this was finals week till summer school starts, so I didn't have that opportunity to do that, but that would be a great thing to do. Have you done that, Lauren?
I haven't done it in like a breakout room. I think it would absolutely work. I have done it as one of my clinical activities where I did what we're doing now. I did a share screen and I had my clinical group online together, and I was kind of just moderating it. And so I think it would definitely work in we use Blackboard, so we have Blackboard Collaborate, and so you can put them into breakout rooms and the moderator can kind of jump from one room to the other, which I have used that before. And so on that platform, you can make someone, be able to share their screen. And so, which again, I've done. So I could see this absolutely being able to be used in breakout rooms.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of possibilities with this, and that's kind of the fun thing about it, is there's so many different options you can do, so many different ways you can go, and then the students, they're having fun while they're learning.
Okay, any other questions? Oh, I'm just going to read this comment. This was absolutely excellent. I really appreciate your time. Wasn't that kind, Paula? Thank you.
Very nice.
Huge thank you to our presenters. You guys rock. I feel like I really understand it and I'm motivated. Thank you.
Yeah, it's really fun. You just got to get in there and, like even like I've been doing this since, I mean, not super long, but since last semester. And like, you just have to test the page and see, and I'm like, oh, look, I made a mistake. So you just got to keep testing your page. After you do a couple, it gets pretty simple to do. And then, you can do fun things and add videos and, to make them more engaging. And so it's fun. It really is. I love it.
I agree. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you both so much for presenting today. We're so, so grateful. Here's your virtual candy handout. I told my students that. They're like, really?
Yeah.
Thank you so, so, so much. Again, congratulations, Lauren.
Yes, congratulations.
Yeah.
And we'll be posting this on our Facebook page, but also on our YouTube channel. So stay tuned for that.
All right, great.
All right. We'll see you next week then. Bye, guys.
Yeah.
Bye.